So I need to find the exact value of cosine of negative 240 degrees. I'm going to draw myself a picture. Negative 240 degrees is not an acute angle. So I'm going to try to find an acute angle, which is a reference angle. I'm going to start here in standard position. Class, how many degrees? 0. If I go in this direction, what do I get? Negative 90. How about here? Negative 180. If I went all the way up here, that would be what? Do you notice that if you did a coterminal angle with negative 270 degrees, if you added 360, what do you get there? You get 90. 90 and negative 270 are coterminal. So negative 90, negative 180, negative 270 is too much. So I know my angle is going to be somewhere in this position. Negative 180 to negative 240. What's the difference, class? What's the difference between negative 180 and negative 240? 60 degrees. Raise your hand if you got 60 degrees as your reference angle. Remember, that's positive. Class, how do I draw my triangle? So we're going to the x-axis here. Now I need to label it based on my 30, 60, 90s. This is 30. Across the 30-degree angle will always be 1. It'll be a negative 1. Across the 60 will always be radical 3. This is positive because it's going up. And class, this last one is the radius, which is 2. The radius will always be positive. Now I need to find cosine. Cosine is which two letters, class?
X over R.
X over R. Now if you're still stuck in the geometry world, you're still doing the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't really want that, but if you're like need some kind of connection, I'm willing to put that out for you. So now I have x, which is negative 1, and my r, which is 2. My answer is negative 1/2. Cosine of negative 240 degrees is negative 1/2. Raise your hand if you got that. Now, that would have been the same idea as if I asked you this problem. If I do a coterminal angle of negative 240, it's what? Cosine of 120. So I could have asked you cosine of 120. I could have asked you cosine of negative 240. It would have been the same idea, right? So let's review why this answer is negative. There are two reasons why it's negative. One, cosine involves the x value. The x value, if I go left, is what, class? It's negative. Think of an order pair. Negative 5, 10. The x values are negative. That's the first reason why it's negative. The second reason why it's negative is we have this phrase. Where do all students go, class? All students take calculus. What does that stand for? All of the trig functions are positive. What does this one mean? Sine and cosecant are positive. Everything else is negative, including cosine. So there's a couple of ways of checking that it is negative.